Hi, I'm Daphne Richards. Our plant this week is coneflower, Echinacea purpurea. This strikingly pretty perennial is such an easy care plant and goes so well with most any landscape style that it really does deserve a special place in every garden. It loves full sun but can take bright shade and is extremely drought tolerant. The entire stem grows underground, so be sure to plant in well-drained soil, not heavy clay, unless you can amend it to be super loose. If you need to do that, use decomposed granite or other small aggregate substrate. Pea gravel would be too large and sand too small for most very heavy clay situations. Since it can create an even worse situation, our specialists at AgriLife Extension have done some research that shows that expanded shale is very good for loosening clay soil. You'll see on the tag that Echinacea gets up to 3 feet tall, but that includes the flower stalk, which shoots up far above the leaves. The actual plant itself is usually around a foot tall and wide. Since they spread quite nicely, they look great planted in groupings of 3 to 5 in pockets of garden beds with other native plants. The native species Echinacea has light purple ray flowers, which droop slightly and resemble petals, and tiny disc flowers, which create the cone-shaped center from which this plant gets its common name. That central cone creates the very small seeds that are a great fruit source for songbirds, making Echinacea a must-have plant in any wildlife garden. If you're adventurous, there are also other Echinacea cultivars with more striking flower colors, from white to lime green. Although these plants are usually not as hardy and sometimes peter out after an especially hard summer. You can plant Echinacea from seed, but it's easier to get 4-inch containers or dormant rhizomes and plant in early spring. Our question this week is about frozen plants, what to do and how soon. This is of course a great question to explore at this time of year, especially for us Central Texans and other Southern gardeners with our climate's habit of being bipolar during the winter. One day it's 70 degrees and sunny, and then just 24 hours later, freezing with a chance for sleep. When we get that gorgeous 70 or maybe even 80-degree day in January, we're all tempted to prune back our mushy and twiggy perennials. But don't be fooled. Some plants will do just fine if we get our normal second round of frosty temperatures, but some may not. Pruning, especially combined with warmer temperatures and bright light, encourages growth and exposes those tender new stems and leaves, making them more vulnerable. But some plants, especially our native salvias, are impatient, shooting out of the ground boldly long before winter's truly over. So if you've noticed that your plants emerge very early and do just fine, despite a late season freeze, go ahead and indulge your spring fever and prune away all the dead stems. Most shrubs and roses can also take an early pruning, and actually should be taken care of prior to mid-February or as soon as you start to see buds starting to swell just under the surface of the stem. But if you have succulent plants that are mushy, like purple heart, it would be best to wait until at least mid-March, since succulent leaves are full of water. Once they freeze, the cell walls burst when they thaw, meaning that lovely new growth will be fried in the almost inevitable late winter blast of polar cold. And then there are those lovely, tender perennial plants like Dianella that just don't return at all. But hopefully that situation's more rare in your garden, or you've planted those in a protected spot to alleviate the harsh cold. So my best advice is to watch your plants for at least a year and get to know their ability to handle our truly unpredictable winter weather. To do in your garden this week, take a look around and see what needs to be pruned, and challenge yourself to wait and see if you're not sure. We'd love to hear from you, so please visit us at klru.org/ctg and to send us your questions and plants from your garden.